have one more speaker tonight. And again, I'm honored to be introducing this lady. I jumped on the chance to. I've known her my entire life, growing up in Falling Springs and Falling Spring Presbyterian Church. I've known Ruthie and all of her family. And all of my young childhood memories at the church involve all of these people and her family that are sitting here tonight. And so I'm honored to introduce the survivor and fighter, Miss Ruthie Craft.
I don't know what Amanda was thinking when she asked me to speak. But I was honored. I am overwhelmed and have been overwhelmed since I came in this place. It's beautiful. I knew it was going to be wonderful. I said I've heard of people being on fire for Jesus Christ, but let me tell you, Amanda's on fire for breast cancer. I can't see a soul, and I told someone that I would pick somebody out in the audience and they'd have underwear on their head. So you might be surprised who that is. I am Ruthie Craft. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, and I'm here standing in front of you tonight, very proud to be a survivor. I am a mammo tech. I've done mammos for years and years and years. I graduated from the old hospital in Covington Forge in 1979, and I took my mammo boards whenever I was, my children were just babies, about 1991. So I've been doing mammos for a long time, and I've seen it all. I've been with patients, I've cried with patients, I've cried with their husbands, and that's been very important to me. There are 3 of us mammo techs. I work at Bath Community Hospital. There are 3 of us mammo techs, and 2 of us are breast cancer survivors. One is 16 years out, and I'm just over 1 year out. Had you told me that I had breast cancer, I'd have never believed it. Because I had my mammogram every year, and every year on time. Had you told me I had colon cancer, I would not have been shocked, because I had never had a colonoscopy. But I did do that after I was diagnosed. Barb Howell told me, said, you're getting close to 50, you're going to have a colonoscopy. My answer was, I won't be 50 anytime soon. And I did not have that colonoscopy until after I was diagnosed. And so one of the times that I was in the hospital 6 times just for 6 treatments. I had to have IVs 5 days a week. The chemo really took a toll on me. And I really battled with the chemo, and everybody's battle is different. It's different. I think Amanda had a harder time with her surgery. I had a harder time with the chemo. And I cried more tears over Amanda's walk, her battle, than I did my own. I had so much encouragement. I had my family, my friends. I was on prayer list clear in Richmond. I received Afghans from 4 different places. One from Richmond. One day they called me and said, some man wants you out front at the hospital. And I said, well, who is it? And they said, we don't know. And I said, oh, Lord have mercy, what's going to happen? So I walked out front, and this man said, are you Ruthie Craft? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, I have been asked to bring you this prayer shawl. And this came from a group that is way above Monterey, and they had me on their prayer list and prayed over this shawl, and amazing things like that happened, and that's what kept me going. I was so deathly sick with the chemo. I had a blood clot. I had a blood clot in my leg, and it went to my lung. And my husband took me to the emergency room, and I was in the emergency room. I joked and told him that I was just trying to make sure that Bath County Hospital stayed afloat, because I was constantly being in there trying to help them out a little bit. But anyway, I got transferred to Lewis Gale the one time. I was absolutely, I had Bob Williams as a surgeon. I had Dr. Fentel. I didn't even know Dr. Fentel when I started, and one of the nurses at the hospital had told me about the different doctors. And I chose him, and last time I saw him, I told him, I said, you know, when I started with you, Dr. Fentel, you were just a name. I said, but you're not any longer a name. And back in the back, my 86-year-old father is here tonight, and he's battling carotid now. And it's a hard road. But just think of the people. You know, I was amazed when I saw the pictures. I knew a lot of the people on the pictures, but then a lot of the pictures that I saw, I didn't even know that they had had cancer. And I could not get over the number of people just in this area that have been touched and have been affected by breast cancer alone. We have a lot of cancer in this area. Do yourselves a favor, do me a favor. Go have your mammogram. I preach that big time. And I say to my patients that they have never had a mammogram and they're 50 years old and they walk in, and I say, let me tell you something. Please, 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 have your mammogram next year. If you don't come here, please go somewhere. But they usually come back. They like a familiar face. They like a friendly face. I love my patients. I love my job. It's very important to me. And there's nothing like having a job that you love. Everybody's quiet now. What's going on here? We couldn't get you all to be quiet long ago. I am so proud to be a Grammy. And I say I survived breast cancer, and I found out that my oldest son and his wife Paige were going to have a baby. So that's my boastful thing. I survived breast cancer to become a Grammy. Kristen didn't tell you that she was one of my, I call Sunday school kids, when I taught Sunday school. And I love to see all these kids. I got a surprise tonight. The little baby not running around here, but around here is my grandson, and my son, my daughter-in-law, and my youngest son, Jonathan and Benjamin. They both showed up. My older sister, Laurie, here. My mom and dad's in the back. My husband, Larry Craft. My sister, Amy Blake. You all, I'm sure you all know her. I was surprised last night on, was it last night? Night before last. I was talking to my sister on the phone, Amy, and she said, text me back again. And I said, I have got to go to bed. I had to work the next day, and I get up at 5:30. So I headed down the hall, and I heard ding, ding, and I thought, I cannot continue this any longer. I had already been up too late. So anyway, my house phone rang, and she said, you get on that Facebook and you read Amanda's last post. You have got to see this and get a box of tissues. When I was battling this cancer and was pretty sick, I had things that kept me going, like my niece Rebecca came down to see me one day, and her and her fiance were getting married, and she said, I don't know if you've ever heard of a whoopie pie. Have you ever heard of a gob? They're mighty good. And she said, I'd like to have gobs for my wedding. And I need 300. Will you bake them? And I thought, okay, either she's trying to kill me or she wants to give me a reason to live. Well, she gave me a reason to live because I baked her 300 gobs. And my other niece, Cassie, she sent me a message, and she said to me, she said, I'm going to walk in honor of you in the Susan G. Komen race. And I said, oh, well, I've heard of Susan G. Komen, but I really don't know that much about it. So anyway, I ended up looking it up online, and this was when I was at home and dealing with the chemo and so sick. And when I looked it up, I thought, you know what? I need a goal. I need something to look forward to. So I decided, I said to my husband, I said, can we walk in this walk? I said, I may not be able to make it. And I said, I know to a lot of you people, a mile's not a lot. But now and then, it was a lot, a constant walk. So anyway, she said, they got a team, we got a team up at Bath County Hospital. And it's a very small hospital, a very caring. You have a lot of devoted employees. And I said, we got 33 people on this team. And I was absolutely amazed. And we were the top rookie team last year, raised so much money so this is what this money is going to tonight. And Amanda surprised me with that. And I know my husband's relieved because he's the captain of the team this year. And he kept saying, we've got to get something done. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. And I kept saying, it'll come in time. And Amy knew that I was absolutely going to be thrilled with this. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything, every penny you've spent, everything that these girls have done. It's absolutely amazing to me. And I haven't looked at one note. So my oldest son told me that I had an hour and 45 minutes and I better be finished. Because there was a ball game coming on. And he doesn't miss too many of those. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I want to thank Amanda. I just have been amazed. I had never met Amanda till Sunday, and we met in Wendy's of all places. I want to leave with you tonight. I know I'm no great speaker, but when I speak from the heart. And I want to tell you, please, know your body. Go have your mammogram. Examine your breast. And this is not just women. Men get breast cancer too. And it's a scary, scary thing. But you know what? I wasn't afraid when I was diagnosed. I was not afraid because it was a familiar thing to me. The hardest thing for me to do was to tell my mother and father. That was the hardest thing for me to do. We all have a different story. And we all feel differently. I had surgery, had a bilateral mastectomy. I never had a moment's pain. I went back to work 3 weeks from the day that I had the surgery. As soon as the drains come out, I went back to work. And I said to Dr. Williams, I said, are you sure? And he said, yes. As soon as the drains come out, you can go back. And I said, do you know what I do for a living? And he said, yes, I know what you do for a living. He said, but you're going to be fine. And he ended up having to retire. But anyway, I had so much support. My mother made the most beautiful quilt. They had a raffle for the quilt. And that quilt raffle brought in $1,700 itself, just for the raffle. And my son that went out with the baby and his wife, they kind of orchestrated a Think Pink campaign, and I was almost so sick. We live near the Falling Springs Firehouse, and I was so sick that my husband put me in the Jeep and took me up there, and they had a chair there for me to sit, and that raised, I think, over $3,000, and we put that in an account of its own and set it aside, and if we needed that money for something as far as travel, motels, anything like that, that's what it was used for. So anytime that you're giving to someone like that, you have no idea what an impact you're making. Summer is here tonight. Summer Pullen, I went to school with her mother. Her mother battled this also. And when she found out, I know that seems simple to her, but when she found out that we were having this Think Pink thing, I said to her tonight, when I think of you, I think of that pineapple upside down cake that you made for my Think Pink. So, you know, when you do things like that from your heart, it affects people. They remember it, and they're very thankful. And again, thank you tonight for what you've done.